Gentleman from Texas, Mr. Farenthold.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. George, earlier on you testified that some of the questions that were asked to some of these groups included a request for their list of donors. Do we know what happened to those list of donors? Do we have any insurance that, or assurances that those lists weren't made public, or somebody snapped a picture with their cell phone and sent it to an opposing group or a political candidate or somebody?
Very good question, Congressman. We were told by the IRS, the office that collected this information, that they did destroy the information. However, again, they were not under oath. We weren't there when it happened, but we have to take them at their word.
Yes, but we have no conclusive evidence that somebody wasn't trying to create an enemies list or something like that.
That's correct, sir.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the IRS procedure. There was a Fox News report today that the president's brother, I think, got his 501c4 approved in a matter of days, and we've got some conservative groups and possibly other groups that are waiting multiple years. Is there a standard of time within the IRS that these are expected to be handled? Are there some processes and procedures in place?
Addressed to me.
Yeah, I'll start with you, Mr. George.
Well, first of all, I cannot, pursuant to Title 26-6103, make any comment that would in any way make...
No, I'm asking about the procedures of the IRS.
Yes.
There is a procedure in place.
Yes.
So after a certain amount of time, the computer says what happened to this?
I don't know exactly how it works, but they do have target deadlines or dates for processing these. However,
Mr. Schuman, are you aware?
I don't know the specifics. Generally, there's goals for processing of any sort of cases. Those goals generally in the last couple of years have been very difficult to meet, with the budget.
Right. Yeah, I practiced law for a while. We had a tickler system that when something came in, it got entered into the computer, and if after a certain number of days, it flagged it, and after a few more days, it would flag the boss. Mr. George, you're indicating you.
Congressman, thank you. I was just informed by staff that the standard is 121 days for the processing of these, but unfortunately, they average over 574 days.
So when they get behind, do supervisors get noticed? Are you aware of a escalation procedure? Again, yeah, I've never managed an organization the IRS. I think the most people I've ever supervised is around 50. But I had procedures in technology in place to where when somebody was screwing up, it moved up the chain of command. Mr. George, Mr. Schumer, are either of y'all familiar with any procedures like that?
I'm going to defer to Mr. Shulman, rather. On this one.
I don't have detailed knowledge of this specific unit handling these 300 cases.
Well, and a news station in Cincinnati obtained an employee directory for the IRS indicating who reports to whom. And of the 6 identified employees, they report to different managers, and then above them even to different territory managers. This sounds like a reasonable and rational organization. I mean, the government, we love our chain of command here. I guess my question is, how in any sort of rigid chain of command do these extraordinary delays not move out of one department and get up to a supervisory level within that department, and then on up within the chain of command to Washington, D.C.? It just seems unfathomable to me that that wouldn't happen. Either of you gentlemen like to comment?
Unfortunately, Congressman, and it's not just in this context, but if you look at the processing of FOIA requests, Freedom of Information Act requests, many times because agencies are overwhelmed by the number of those requests and the limited number of resources that they have to address those requests, they fall behind.
Okay, and if I don't file my tax return or extension by April 15th, is there any chance it will fall through the cracks and get ignored for 3 years?
I'm going to yield to Shulman on that one.
I'll yield back to Mr. George.
Why don't we go to Mr. Wolin, who is still involved?
I will address those questions. Is there not the command structure is the one that I want to get at. Isn't there Isn't there, or shouldn't there be a command structure where this gets escalated to a level that this should have been caught long before it was?
I would say this, Congressman. I think the IG's report includes an important series of recommendations that speak to some of these management issues and training and making sure that these cases are handled in an appropriate way and in a way that's within the time frames that are meant to be. What we have done is we've asked the new acting commissioner who started this morning to be on top of that to make sure that these things get implemented quickly and to report back.
And let's get some automation in there. Trust but verify is a good rule of thumb.
Thank the gentleman from Texas and admonish him to go vote. I now